So the circle is home. And outside of the circle is the wide world, and I can see the wide world from where I stand, and it is full of all of these things, unlocked doors and passing trucks driven by dudes in hats that wave at you. And at home, inside the circle, I could see the knowing glare that doesn't exist in the wide world, where the miles change people inside and outside of a geo metro, and I know the whole world is the same place, but it doesn't look that way from here, because from here, I see different people drinking different beverages in a different climate, and they have glasses, and they walk with a limp, and they pay rent, and they do all of those things that we two on the porch do. They just do them differently. And their sun is a different sun than the one over California. And their streets are not paved with gold. They're only paved with the dreams to which they can aspire. And from this porch, we'll practice and scratch. And from soon, we'll crawl to a different coast where the ocean is on the wrong side. And as far away as that might be, we can see our circle expand to encompass all those people who do not have that knowing glare and tend to stare at us two on the porch, who become different people in each other's eyes and reach out to find that one thing that she calls just a piece of America, and I find to be that peace of mind that has escaped all of my disquiet. But my disquiet turns to different unsettlings as the rain chases us around the rail of the porch, and my pooch stares out through the rain-soaked windows, out of the rain-soaked streets, to the cars streaking off to different corners of the world that might be Peru, or the Marin Headlands, or the coast of Antarctica, but are probably just quiet driveways leading to open doorways and warm arms within circles I know nothing about. While this circle I feel so close as it streaks in a bubble across the face of this world, intersecting all of the other bubbles and bursting them with speed and confidence. The front seat of a Geo Metro is not the worst place to turn 19. And a peace of mind gained through speed and distance isn't intended to evaporate when the engine stops running. And the cares of this world reflect off the windows of the bubble as the circles spin themselves into dreams that pave the streets with gold and shine like rain-soaked streets under orange streetlights. And I would try to smile more, but my mouth is just too damn tired. Exercise. 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 What do I miss when I skip my exercises? Is it just a pile of words that matters? Should I just fill page upon page and prove my worth through volume? How much is enough? If every drag of the pen feels like the lifting of the earth, if we only have what we're doing, when we stop, are we nothing? For every line I write, I lose 2 to time. And soon we'll be writing negative poetry. My pen sucking the ink from the page like a vacuum better than mine lifts pet hair from the carpet. Every minute the laws of physics fail to apply anymore. Things keep falling up. Water evaporates into ice, only to heat the air to stifling. I'm trifling. I know I'm just bitter. That poetry has to be exercised, when it would better fall out of the head in neat lines, stacked like ham, thin, perfect, and neat on a deli slicer. What does it matter? Honestly, what does it matter? Every day as I smoke and walk Folsom to the park, people invariably pass me, running, exercising. And one day the newspaper scared me, telling me if I don't do their puzzle, my mind will grow soft. So I Sudoku and crossword myself daily, exercising my mind, 75 cents at a time. To what end? I watched a mini documentary about an Olympic marathoner, and they showed him every day running, and smiling, as the miles clicked behind him over mountain passes in Colorado. And every day, all I have to do is pick up a pen and scratch out 5 pages. And I still bitch. But what does it matter? Honestly, what does it matter? That was a poem for poets. Hope you guys know that one. I'm in the wind. Listen as I pass, dislodging your hat, ruining your umbrella. What is wind really? Is it atmosphere, speed? Is it air pressure? I spent an afternoon watching dudes with board sails and skateboards on a now disappeared parking lot in the Presidio. And they either weren't that good at what they were doing or were inventing the sport, or both. Probably both. And they were at distance, so I imagined they were ants trying to learn to fly. And then I remembered there were flying ants. But I'm not sure if flying ants were actually ants or were just bugs that were just called that. Either way, the ants trying to fly were really just skateboarders with board sails, and neither the ants nor the skateboarders seemed to get anywhere. They never wrote down who was the first person to decide that wind could move boats, could move mills. It occurred to people before it occurred to people to write everything down. Why do we write everything down? I want to live on the wind. It's such a shame that jellyfish never learned to fly. I guess they wouldn't still be jellyfish. They would be jelly birds. Or more appropriately, jelly balloons. Living balloons, popping and refilling due to some branch of evolution that never happened. Floating jellyfish balloon birds who live on pollen. And all the plants are much taller. Their flowers reach into a sky designed to deposit their seeds onto the jelly blimp birds that I guess gird the earth, because everything grows into everything else. Whales dissolve on the ocean floor into teeming metropolises of things that eat dead things, although in this context, it's dead thing. And I wonder if I'm honored to be part of this living stream that has proven to be so genetically clever, yet not clever enough to make jellyfish fly. Of course, dinosaurs learned to fly, which if you were a gambler millions of years ago, you might not have taken that bet. We are drops in that ocean of life running through a river of time. I can catch the wind and fly away from that fate, sailing like a jelly blimp bird should, away from the fates of people. But it is better to adhere to the fate of man, that ignoble thing that invented nobility. People flew much later than dinosaurs in horrid contraptions that somehow get across a continent from a morning into an evening. And why do we write everything down? What does that serve? Does it serve anything? What do we serve, ourselves or each other? Do we serve life itself or humanity? Or do we serve a tennis ball to have fate smack it back at us? What is the wind, if not, to be sure, an impossibly imprecise metaphor? Do I want to be in the wind because I want to disappear? Or do I want to be in the wind so I can knock off your hat and then disappear? Do I ask too many questions? Jellyfish don't ask questions. Neither do ants. But neither of them learned how to fly, I think. To be honest, though, neither did I. In the line behind me, the most perfectly coiffed girls wait for coffee. The line is long and slow, and though it's impolite to listen, I still do. The girl bedecked in mustard-colored flowers imparts to the girl in solid plum, "You so crazy." And I think, plausibly, possibly. I mean, why couldn't she be? If I walked out on the street in a short plum dress and a plum handbag and a stripe of plum across the tops of my socks and a simple plum ribbon keeping the hair from my eyes, most people would move out of the sidewalk to let me pass, even here in San Francisco. Although if I did it correctly, I'd probably get a few compliments. When the sun rises, especially on a clear day, we have certain expectations. We have certain expectations of people. And when we see someone slotting neatly into those gender normative societal slots, our primary thought isn't generally, you so crazy. Generally, we think of crazy as pants around the ankles, engaging in a shouting match with God. But think of it. What is her closet like? Is today plum day? Is the clothes rack arranged red to violet like some OCD rainbow nightmare? Socks arranged likewise in a drawer. Can you imagine each ribbon pinned perfectly to a singular wire hanger? The greens next to the blues, the yellows running orange to red. It wasn't just plum, it was the same shade of plum. From the edges of the socks, through the handbag to the ribbon. And I mean, I'm sure not one to judge, being a candidate for arguing bottomless with any number of deities. Hey, Shiva, what's with all the arms? Buddha, what's so funny, buddy? Jesus, you're taking your own sweet time coming back now, aren't you? So I know I'm just projecting what may be her crazy, because I didn't eavesdrop any more than that single line and just speculated how that crazy would manifest. But let's assume the mustard-flowered girl is telling the truth. Talk to anyone long enough for them to start telling their truth, and you will find they're out of their mind. A human mind is created by a human brain, an organ that resembles over-soaked sponge cake in too much simple syrup. And we're all packing one of these, atop a wobbly neck, held above a sometimes ambulatory bag of meat and bones. As a thought experiment, when you pass someone like me, naked from the waist down, tossing an angry word salad up to heaven, look at the next two people you see, shaking their head, hustling away, and imagine what it is that makes them crazy. You might be surprised what you come up with, or you might not. Or maybe you should look in the mirror and ask yourself, what makes me crazy in other people's eyes? And if I'm so crazy and you so crazy, we all so crazy, how can anything happen less than crazy? Will nobody wear pants? Will God ever get a moment's peace? Will every Sunday afternoon be awash with the color plum? No. We're all crazy, but we're all different crazy. And all our crazies make the world work. And sometimes God needs a good talking to. Even it'd be better if I kept my pants on. And that should be the end of the poem, but it isn't. Because all those averages hold back our batshit individual crazy can also be used against us to oppress us by making us forget that we is us. Thank you.